Where Angels Fear to Tread is a 1905 novel by British author E. M. Forster, renowned for his later works A Room with a View, 1908, and A Passage to India, 1924. Like these novels, Where Angels Fear to Tread explores themes of societal constraints and personal freedom, following the story of Lilia Herriton, a young woman seeking to escape the repression and snobbery of her life in Edwardian England. Lilia embarks on a passionate affair with Gino Carella, an Italian man from a lower-class background, hoping to break free from her suffocating surroundings. However, her story ends in tragedy as she discovers that Gino married her for her money, and she realizes that she can never return to her former life in England. After her death, a bitter custody battle ensues between her Italian and English families over her son with Gino. The novel's title is drawn from Alexander Pope's 1711 essay on criticism, For Fools Rush In Where Angels Fear to Tread. The story begins with Lilia, a young widow, arriving at the train station in Forster, England, where she has been living with her late husband's family, his mother, Mrs. Herriton, and his surviving children, Philip and Harriet. Mrs. Herriton, who views Lilia as vulgar and unrefined, is increasingly distressed by Lilia's unconventional upbringing of her daughter, Irma, and is particularly outraged by Lilia's growing affection for a lower-class man. Forster's society, too, shares these prejudices, with hypocrisy and repression reigning supreme. Most concerned with maintaining appearances, Mrs. Herriton decides that sending Lilia to Italy will remove her from the situation and potentially provide her with some much-needed refinement. Meanwhile, Mrs. Herriton plans to raise Irma properly in Lilia's absence. To keep Lilia from further missteps, Mrs. Herriton appoints Miss Caroline Abbott, a younger but trusted chaperone, to accompany her. Lilia, feeling stifled by life in Forster and the challenges of motherhood, gladly agrees to the plan. She is relieved to escape to the Italian town of Monteriano, where she feels a sense of freedom and excitement that has eluded her. Enchanted by the passionate, uninhibited way of life of the Italian villagers, Lilia becomes captivated by the possibility of a new, unrestrained existence. Forster subtly reveals something that Lilia herself cannot perceive. The Italian way of life, with its distinct romantic and familial customs, is very different from the repressive, class-conscious world of Forster, and Lilia may be in over her head. She becomes infatuated with Gino Carella, a handsome and charming local man. While Lilia is swept away by his allure, the reader can discern that Gino is, at heart, selfish and self-centered. When Mrs. Herriton learns from Lilia's mother that Lilia has married an Italian nobleman, she becomes suspicious and sends her son Philip to uncover the truth. Philip learns from Caroline, who reveals that Gino is actually the son of a local dentist, and, from the Herritons' perspective, little more than a peasant. Appalled, Philip brings Lilia back to England. The Herritons sever ties with her, but they keep Irma with them, as she still carries the Herriton name and must be protected from disgrace. Lilia, pregnant with Gino's child, dies in childbirth. In the aftermath, a bitter custody battle ensues between Gino and the Herritons over the child. Mrs. Herriton sends Philip and Harriet to Italy to retrieve Lilia's son. Upon arriving, they meet Caroline, who agrees to help them, though she privately doubts Mrs. Herriton's true motivations, believing her concern is more about family reputation than the well-being of the child. Philip and Harriet try to convince Gino to give up the boy, while Caroline offers lukewarm assistance. Realizing that Gino will never relinquish his son, Harriet impulsively kidnaps the baby and flees in a carriage. However, the carriage overturns on a steep road, and the child dies. Grief-stricken and enraged, Gino confronts Philip, who is filled with remorse. Caroline, who has navigated the situation with duplicity, intervenes to mediate the conflict. On their return to England, Philip finds himself in love with Caroline and plans to confess his feelings during the journey. However, before he can speak, Caroline admits that she has developed feelings for Gino. Where Angels Fear to Tread delves into themes of cultural conflict, prejudice, and the complicated dynamics between family and romantic relationships. Forster's debut novel established him as a significant voice in British literature. In 1991, the novel was adapted into a film, starring Rupert Graves and Helen Mirren. It was also staged as an opera, with its first professional performance taking place in 2015 at Opera San Jose. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy this video, leave a like and subscribe.